Have uh okay. This is hold on, just one second before I get started with the live. Can you hear? That's where the quality. Swear to God. Okay, so we got my reviews for a couple of Godzilla projects I've been looking forward to for years now. And honestly, based off the title of this review, I'm pretty sure y'all know how I feel. So let's just get it out of the way. Because, yeah, let's just get these reviews out the way. Godzilla minus one is fantastic. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is a decent show. Not all that great, but decent. And last but not least, the most recent MonsterVerse movie, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, is mid. In my opinion, I liked it, but not as good as Godzilla vs Kong. To be honest, in my opinion. Happy if you are liking it. I'm happy if I'm happy that the movie is doing well. I still support the MonsterVerse, but I gotta be honest. Maybe it's because I'm a more Heisei person than Listen. Heisei Godzilla is my thing. I would, and honestly, if we do get that third MonsterVerse that third MonsterVerse movie that Adam Wingard wants to make so bad with Godzilla and Kong, I really hope they take things back to the King of the Monsters slash like the more King of the Monsters route, where it's just the world building, the serious tone, things are actual stakes. As much as I like Shima, I didn't like Scar King, but let me. All right, I'm gonna. All right, look. In fact, let me just get Godzilla. Since that's the most recent film everyone's talking about right now, let's get Godzilla X Kong out of the way. So yeah, I liked Godzilla X Kong, but I didn't love it. It was mediocre to me. It was not that great. The monster action. No. Let me just go by the things I liked and the things that I dislike. That I liked that we get the monsters are essentially the main characters now. I do like that the I do like that I like the CGI in the film. In the trailers, the CGI looked a bit at times, and of course, it was gonna look to be honest, because that's how that's what happens when you focus on the monsters this time instead of the humans. The CGI is gonna look at times. As long as the monster action itself is good, which, to be honest, it shit went by itself as. But I'm gonna say that for the negatives. But I like the CGI. I like the fact I knew I knew it, but I like that monster's back. I like how I like how she and I really do love that this is the first time we get Godzilla and Kong versus Mothra. And speaking of Kong, I really loved Kong in this movie. Like I liked Kong and Godzilla versus Kong. I already told y'all that, but one of my issues is that the way he fought. I always stated that he fought a little soft in that film. Here, this is how he should have fought in the last movie. Which, if I'm being honest with you, some of the stuff that went down in this movie, where was this last time? You know, where was this last time? Where was this with Godzilla versus Kong? But yeah, I liked that we got a lot. I like the fact that we actually get a lot of monsters. Which again, the monsters are essentially the main focus of this film. I do like how Kong, Scar King, the monkeys, Suko. I love how they're the characters of this film. Like there are literal scenes where there are literal scenes of them without any humans, like them communicating with each other. I like that. I really like that. You know, we don't really feel the sense of scale. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hello. Gotta do my reviews. Getting a lot of Godzilla content lately. Sure. Alright, bet. Alright, you here? Okay. Back on topic. Like I said, I like that Kong, Suko, and the monkeys. There are literal scenes of them communicating with each other. Yeah. Hold on. Even though we don't really get the sense of scale, when they're around, like when there's like action scenes where they're in the buildings, like or when they're in the cities, we can still see like how big they are. But yeah. But yeah. I also like what is that like? I like the human characters. I like how likable they are. I like Trevor and Bernie. I mean, I already liked Bernie and Godzilla versus Kong. A lot of people hated him because he was with Madison and what's his name, the chubby kid. Well, I forgot his fucking name. I forgot his name. But yeah, I also like. So I like Gia too. I like how she contributes to getting Mothra. I do like Mothra's inclusion in this movie. I like Kong. So yeah, I also liked the amount of monster action we get. Monsters are everywhere. We get so much. This is what I want to know. You're telling me the movie. This is what I want to know. You're telling me this is the movie where we get a lot of monster action, but not King of the Monsters like Godzilla vs Kong. That's right, GVK. I mean, we get plenty of monster action. What am I tripping about? But for real, I really did like the amount of monster action we get. It shows that they're spending less time on the humans, more time on the monsters. I really like that. As long as they get development, which I'm about to touch on in a second. I really did love the Kong and Suko relationship, father and son relationship, even though Suko was like a bitch a lot of times towards Kong. Like when they were first meeting, he was acting like that one kid. First he sets up Kong, and then he wants to. First he sets up Kong, and then he wants to not even be around him. Like literally when when he's showing you, literally, you can still. Suko was a little shit sometimes. I swear, he's still adorable, but he was a little shit at times, to be honest. But got. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna talk about Godzilla in a minute. I'm gonna talk about Godzilla because there's a lot of shit I need to address about him in this movie. But yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of Godzilla, hey, Toho fans, y'all remember in King of the Monsters where Godzilla where he has old roar where he has Toho roar for a few scenes here and there. Guess what? In this movie, like in the first few minutes of this movie, when he's fighting Scylla, he literally when he jumped on Scylla, you heard his own roar. Whether that was the Millennium War or the 1964 War, I forgot. Like, which one it was. Was it his Millennium War or his? I don't think that was his Heisei Roar. I think that was his like his Showa Roar. Maybe because this movie took inspiration from the Showa era. But nah, but for real. Oh yeah, you also heard his Toho War when that one scene in France where he's fighting the military. I think it's when he grabs one of the drones, the helicopters, one of the jets. You could kind of hear the roar, the Toho roar. I like that. I really do like that. I really do like how in the Monsterverse he has this new beastly badass roar while still having this Tahoe roar at certain times. I really did. I really did fuck with that. I fuck with that. Hell, literally in Godzilla vs Kong, Kong had his 1976 roar. That one scene. I really did like how they brought out the old roars for a few scenes while not having to be a distraction. I really did fuck with that. What else did I like? I liked. Yeah, I like the characters, how likable they are. I like Gia. It's entertaining. It's fun. Now let's talk about the negatives. All right. I like this movie. I was disappointed though. This movie is fucking mad. It was mad. To be honest, it was mad. Okay. I waited 3 years. 3 years. Hell, if y'all checked out some of my videos, y'all can tell I was a little worried. I was hyped, but I was a little worried. This is why. Even though this movie is entertaining, it is so. I know. It's supposed to be a fun film. It's supposed to take homage to the show, pay homage to the show ever. My God, though, this shit is too. Bro, this shit was too silly. This was too fucking silly. this this was too goofy. Even when the literal scenes of darkness where it's supposed to. Let me talk about something. The comedy, bro, I swear, only a few jokes landed. The rest of it sucked. The jokes sucked. I also didn't like. Yeah, I didn't really like the humor of this movie. To be honest, I didn't like the humor. And another thing, bro, it's almost like this movie was made for those toxic MonsterVerse fanboys. At times you feel like toxic MonsterVerse fanboys took the realm of the creativity of this movie. What a few scenes like the opening of this movie, where there's that painting of Godzilla with the glasses on the bridge. I know that was meant to be a joke, but what the fuck? You turned this movie into a literal meme, you know? And then that one joke where Bernie was like, what's her name? Eileen. Yeah, Rebecca Hall's character. Eileen was in meeting up with with Bernie. He made a joke about like a troll named Ghidorah or something, like Ghidorah troll. I forgot. Like, it was a troll in one of his podcasts, like one of his recordings named. It was named after Ghidorah. Oh yeah, let me say this. I did like the. They said that they were supposed to reference all the MonsterVerse movies. They really only reference Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters. That's it. But at the same time, though, Godzilla vs. Kong already referenced King of the Monsters. So, yeah. And as much as I was entertained by the monster action, I'm not gonna lie to you. It just went by too fast. It went by too fast. There's not enough time to really breathe with some of the shit that goes around, and we have to be forced to sit through this for nearly 2 hours. At least Godzilla vs. Kong lets us sit, do the action, lets us experience it. When Mechagodzilla killed the Skullcrawler, when Kong fought the Warbats, Godzilla and Kong fights, even when Godzilla and Mechagodzilla fought, before they teamed up, it was still like you could still watch it and not just literally watch like a clip of it. That's what it felt like here. They rushed to do some of the action scenes, which I get it. These are not really the main monsters of the film, but still, I didn't like how. Like, it's one thing to have like short battles here and now and then, because I know that Godzilla and Kong are strong. They can easily take down some of these monsters, but still, like it's almost like every monster action scene in this movie is nearly like 20 seconds. For instance, Godzilla killed Tiamat if you're a Tiamat fan, if you're a Tiamat fan, hey. Hopefully y'all don't hate Adam Wingard, cause hopefully y'all don't become the Kong fanboys and have to wait a few years in order to get a redemption arc. Oh man. Now for real though, the way Guts, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. Now let's talk about something else. Godzilla was acting a little too crazy this time around. Oh man, he was. I don't want to say on some demon time type shit, but Godzilla was on some shit this movie. Since oh yeah, let me talk about something. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that should have been, a lot of the stuff that went down in this movie literally should have been in the last movie, in my opinion. Mothra, Tiamat, Skyla, Scylla, and I'm being real with y'all. I didn't. The villains, Scar King and Shimo, they weren't that big of a threat. They weren't a threat. Now I was disappointed in Shimo. Scar King, I already knew he wasn't a threat, but Shimo, I expected more. I expected more. Okay. I expected more. Shima was literally getting ragdolled by Godzilla in the final battle. The final battle too, yeah, it felt short. The final battle felt short. And then, yeah, and also let me tell y'all something. Godzilla was just on some shit this movie. So apparently he doesn't like interfering with Kong. I understand that, but didn't y'all already work things out? Didn't y'all already, as long as y'all stayed out of each other's way? That I understand if you don't want to be around Kong, but aren't you gonna? Well, let's just say if a world-ending threat monster was here, aren't you gonna need Kong and Mothra? Now, I understand why Kong didn't help you with Ghidorah, because he was still on Skull Island, and Kong, he was limited to Skull Island. Skull Island is gone now. He's in the Hollow Earth now, so aren't you gonna need Kong? I'm just saying. No, but for real, one thing that made me laugh was, like, before the Godzilla Kong rematch, literally the moment he spies on Kong, the moment he even sees Kong, he was sprinting towards him, and then this nigga Godzilla was on some demon time shit. Oh man. This nigga literally tackled Kong, and I did like the Godzilla Kong rematch fight though. I like that fight. Yeah, I wasn't really in love with the action in this movie. As much as I love me some monster action, some of the monster action this time around, they went by too fast. And let me say this. Here's a flaw in the villain's plan. Yeah, Shima was getting ragdoll. Scar King, he already was a ragdoll. Even from the fucking trailers showed me that Scar King was not that big of a threat. So yeah, only makes me a little happy. Only makes me wish that they would have had a Toho monster on one hand, but at the same time, on the other hand, if they would have had a Toho monster in this movie, they probably would have been ragdoll and bitched around like Scar King and Shima was to an extent. And I would have hated that shit. I would have hated that shit. So I'm kind of glad we're not getting us. I'm kind of glad they didn't include a Toho monster villain in this movie, especially after the bullshit writing in this movie. They would have been. I don't really care for the writing in these movies. Like all you really need is world building, interesting human characters, and fantastic monster scenes and fantastic monsters themselves. I like I like the fact that Kong becomes King Kong at the end. I did like that. Oh yeah, Shima, I expected better. You're the first Titan, and yet you're getting treated around like a pet. Show some respect for Shimo. You know, even though this is your first movie. Soundtrack after this movie, don't ever come back. Fuck the soundtrack. Fuck the soundtrack of this movie. Don't ever fucking come back. You bring back Mothra, but you don't even bring back the Mothra thing. I get different composers, but still. Huge disappointment. Huge disappointment. Literally, this is supposed to be Godzilla and Kong's team up film between two of cinema's most iconic monsters. You can't get the soundtrack right? Yeah, go ahead. The VFX can stay. Adam Wingard can stay. Even though for the next movie you do need to bring in Takashi Yamazaki, Michael Dougherty, and Jordan Farm Roberts. But Junkie XL, you gotta go. Next movie, you gotta go. Don't come back. I hated the soundtrack. The soundtrack sucked. I don't care what you say. It was bad. It was forgettable. As well as a lot of the stuff. Yeah, Godzilla X Kong in general, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. On one hand, it's entertaining, but on the other hand, it is not as good as the previous Monsterverse movies. It is not as good as the last few movies. I really don't got that much to say. It's short as hell. The pacing, yeah, that's another negative for me. It's the pacing. It's just a dumb fun. It's I really hope they do better with the next movie because I was unfortunately disappointed with this movie, which was a huge worry. But happy that the movie's doing well. Happy that fans are loving it, and I still liked it. Like it's an entertaining film. It's entertaining, but not as good as Godzilla vs Kong or King of the Monsters. In my opinion, in my opinion, I still support the Monsters too. I'm excited for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and I do. And from what I've been hearing with the interviews of what Adam Wingard wants to do with the next movie, go for it. Go for it. Hopefully you do better though. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. We didn't really get that much explanation. No. I do like to talk about something. Before I end this, before I move on, I want to talk about something. So here's why Scar King and Shimo's plan is a flaw. Here's the flaw. If you want to rally up your army and destroy the world, go for it. You're villains at the end of the day. But here's the problem. You wait until now. What about when? This is what I mean when I say ultimately Godzilla X Kong just felt like extended stuff that was cut out of Godzilla vs Kong. I prefer the world building of King of the Monsters better. Bring back Michael Dougherty when it comes to the world building and the tone. Next movie. But here's the flaw. You're telling me you wait until now to start attacking? What about when Kong first came down to the Hollow Earth? You know, remember when Gia was like, oh, your family could be. His family was down there, except they were bad. How about instead of having Kong fight the war bats, how about this? Have Kong encounter the monkeys, and have him actually see his family. Except, shocking turn of events, they're bad. I mean, not bad, but they're under. And that drone in Godzilla vs Kong is actually Scar King's drone. Kong fights Scar King. Dude, bro. What if Scar King and Shima were in Godzilla vs Kong? What if Godzilla vs Kong was delayed a final time? And a lot of the stuff, and also apparently Mothra needs help because Scar King and Shima are about to escape. Again, why wait until now to escape? What about when Kong first entered the Hollow Earth? Or when Godzilla blew a hole in the center of the Earth? What if that could have been your? What if you sense it? You don't even have to see it. Sense their presence. Sense what's going on down there. That would have gave Godzilla vs Kong some consequences. Would have added a lot to the film. You know. And let me say this. Yeah, the world building could have easily been better. So you telling me you could build a big ass glove for Kong, but you can't give. Yeah. You can't give Kong his electricity powers or armor. You can give him a fucking gauntlet, but not electricity powers or armor. You can rebuild. You can make a hyper version of the Heave vehicles from the last movie, but you can't give us the Super X. Hell, what about the Maser tanks? Dude, bro, remember you can give us Toho roars for Godzilla. You can bring back Mothra. You can't give us Maser tanks. What about the fucking super heat? What about the Super X from the show era? You can bring those back. If you can bring the Oxygen Destroyer back from put it in King of Monsters, you can bring back Burning Godzilla. You can put in you can give Kong electricity powers. You can put Maser tanks and fucking Super X in this movie. And then, but I hope they do all that in the next movie, because if they don't, I'm gonna get real pissed off. They rushed this movie. I really wanted this movie to be better. Yeah, Godzilla. That's another problem with this movie. They just kept cutting back to Godzilla doing random shit here and there. It doesn't feel earned. It's just random shit. Like, what's the point in this movie? Put all this in the last movie and it would have made sense. In this movie, what was the point though? What was the outcome? What was the resolution here? What was the goal in all this. If you put all this, if you put Mothra, if you put Godzilla's involved form, if you put monkeys like Shimo, Scar King, if you put uh I wouldn't have had a problem with that. It's the fact that I had to wait 3 years for well, it's supposed to be a continuation, only for it to be. If all of the stuff was in the last movie, I would have not minded. I wouldn't mind it. But it's the fact that we have to wait 3 years. It's in a whole nother movie. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that went down in this movie, that's all I'm gonna say. A lot of the shit that went down in this movie should have been in the last movie. Cause ultimately, I'm looking at this going, what the fuck was the point of me waiting 3 years for all this? Even from the trailers, I was feeling some type of way about this movie. It was just something about this movie that was just something about this movie. Even from the trailers, I was just having a feeling about this movie. But who cares? It's still entertaining. It's still fun. It's a mess. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a fucking mess. You could have easily put all this in the last movie. If you would have delayed Godzilla vs. Kong one more time and put all this in there, I would have looked at that movie as a masterpiece. Or at least until Godzilla -1 came out. Which, speaking of -1, let's move on, shall we? Because I really don't have anything else to say about Godzilla X Kong. It's a disappointing. It's a disappointing mess. I liked it, but it was disappointing. I'm not gonna compare. Now let me say this. Let me just say this right now. I'm not gonna compare Godzilla X Kong to -1. Fuck no. I'm just saying it's disappointing on how it continues the monster, or how the monsterverse expands. It didn't really give a good explanation on how the monsterverse expands where we are now. It's just a few lines, but that's it. And on top of that, the lore, bro, that lore was bullshit. That whole scene of them in the temple, and them explaining the lore, the backstory of Shimo and Scar King, all that bullshit, that was bullshit. That was a bullshit explanation. Godzilla was the one that ate the star. I'm over here thinking it's Space Godzilla, or what's it called? Zolzah Hollywood? It's Godzilla. Godzilla is Zolzah Hollywood. Yeah, that's a bullshit explanation. Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully that gets retconned in the future, because that was the most bullshit explanation I heard in the Monsterverse. That was bullshit. Some of the shit that went down in this movie, bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Bullshit. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is unfortunately disappointing. It's a disappointing mess. You can enjoy it in theaters. It's a turn off. It's your turn your brain off popcorn flick. But ultimately, I expected better from this movie. Not saying every Godzilla movie. I wanted next movie. I think I might do a whole video on what the Monsterverse needs to do next movie, because there's a lot of shit about this movie I hated. Not a good film. It was decent. It was okay, but not good. Even as a Godzilla fan, I'm just saying this right now. It's not good. It's entertaining, but it's not good. But okay. Time to talk about Godzilla -1. I'm gonna give the scores of all three in the end, at the end of these reviews. -1. So I loved -1. -1, best modern Godzilla movie. I still prefer Godzilla vs. Destroyer in 1954 over this movie, of course. But -1 is easily top 3 Godzilla movies. It's my favorite Godzilla movie. Oh, but yeah, I love -1. Shikishima, best Godzilla human character since Serizawa. But let me say this right now. I feel like different video. Let's just get on with these reviews. Godzilla -1 is the best Godzilla movie ever made. No surprise. It's focused on a kamikaze pilot named Shikishima. After World War II, they get onto Odo Island and they meet up with Godzillasaurus, which was definitely our callback homage to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, where we first see Godzillasaurus before he gets mutated. And I did like that we get explanations straight up. Who is Godzilla? What's his name? Now let me talk about the things that I loved. Pretty much most of the shit. The action was engaging, especially with Godzilla. Action scenes with Godzilla are engaging. I did love. I did love the human characters. They're actually engaging. I emotionally connected with them. I love how this movie is basically Godzilla. It's basically like the 1954 movie, where it's about the consequences of World War II and the atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. How Godzilla basically represents the consequences of World War. Speaking of Godzilla, let's talk about Godzilla in this movie. I loved Godzilla in this movie. Like, I love his design. I love what he does. I love how the Ginza attack, the atomic breath scene. Bro, that atomic breath scene was fantastic. It represents a nuclear bomb. And I love how, like, after the Ginza attack, where it's just Shikishima screaming, bro, that brought me in, bro, that shit was, ooh, that was so emotional. That movie was emotional. It was emotional. And I love the VFX, the CGI. Shout out to Godzilla -1 for winning an Academy Award. It deserved it. The VFX, the CGI, mwah, chef's kiss. Why did I just do that? But yeah, CGI was really good. There are some scenes where he would move a little stiff, but other than that, the CGI was good. I did wish that Godzilla moved. I did wish there were more Godzilla scenes though. I am guessing, even though this is a more human focused story, I still wish that we get a little bit more Godzilla scenes. I still wish we see Godzilla's or I still wish we would see Godzilla's family. But that's a slight little nitpick. I liked the story overall. The writing was fantastic. It had fantastic writing. Like, you don't really necessarily need good writing. It just needs to be serviceable enough in order for us to love it. But Godzilla -1 takes it. But the writing to Godzilla -1 was a bonus for me. I love how I love the character's strategy. In order to defeat Godzilla, they must suffer and put pressure him underwater. I did love Godzilla's defeat. It was a semi homage. It was a like a homage to both the 1954 and GMK. Which, by the way, I was getting GMK vibes throughout this movie. The atomic bomb scene. I mean, not the atomic breath scene. How Godzilla himself was at times, and even when got defeated, I knew I was not tripping when those like blue lights were coming out of his body. I was like, this reminds me of GMK. This reminds me of GMK. And I love how it wasn't just the oxygen destroyer, all that, because that would have been okay. This is clearly trying to pay homage to the 1954 movie. I love how they come up with a different strategy to defeat Godzilla this time around. They pressure him, they freeze him, they pressure him, he breaks down on the water. But of course he's gonna come back. It's Godzilla. I do love his regeneration. This is the best Godzilla movie to fully showcases his regeneration. The scene on when he attacks the boats, which reminds me of Jaws, by the way, and the ship comes in and shoots him in his gills or something. Oh no, or was it the mimes that he ate and it blew up his face? It looked gross, but when he grew it reminded me of Ghidorah, King of the Monsters. When he grew his face back, put this regeneration in any other Godzilla, and yeah, the world would have ended. Like for instance, this version of the put this version of the regeneration on Legendary Godzilla or Heisei Godzilla. But yeah. And honestly, yeah, I really love Godzilla in this movie. Like, yeah, sure, it's practically just Godzilla comes, fuck shit up, da da da. But here, it felt special. I think it has to do with this film's character writing and how his atomic breath is actually a nuclear explosion this time around. This movie is fantastic. This movie is lit. I'm happy it won awards. And I really do hope Takashi Yamazaki does return for our future Godzilla movie. Even if you have to bring him on board with the next MonsterVerse movie, which I honestly do think they need to do when it comes to character development, writing. I do think that. I'm explaining in another video. But yeah. I did love the tone of this movie too. I'm not saying every Godzilla movie needs to have this tone. In fact, no, bro. Even though I was disappointed, I still liked it. It was entertaining. Godzilla X Kong was entertaining. The MonsterVerse is entertaining. Hell, even some of my favorite Godzilla movies are fucking entertaining. They're not silly. But I did love the tone for this movie though. The tone of this movie, same tone as 1954, all serious and not really depressing and all that. I don't think it was as depressing as the 1954 movie. It was emotional. Like it still had a happy ending, and I was this close to crying. The scene where Shigashima is like freaking out, and then the wife had to like calm him down. When he was like, I'm a ghost. That really freaked me. I was like, oh man, he's really going through it. And then his wife had to calm him down. No, not his wife. I'm sorry. His girl, like his relationship, his love interest, had to like calm him down. And I really did love how the girl like saved him, like pushed him away when Godzilla fired his atomic breath. She a real bitch. Like, even though she shouldn't have survived that shit, I don't know why she survived that. I don't know how she survived that. Literally, the next movie, they better get married. I don't care what you say. She proven to be a real woman. She sacrificed herself for him, and the fact that she's still alive, I don't give a fuck if she has a missing eyeball. They better get married. They better get married next movie. And I love Shikishima's. I was like, fuck yeah. Do what you gotta do. Do your thing. Take this nigga. Take Godzilla down. Yeah. Now let me talk about some things I didn't like though. They could have cut some things out. The pacing did drag for a few scenes. They could have cut some things down here and there. And I personally would have done more with Godzilla himself. I do like how Godzilla's a threat this time. He feels the fact that he's a threat, but just this is just a little nitpick. I would have still added some moments to Godzilla, like show Godzilla with the family before the nuclear explosion, which killed the family and brought up Godzilla. Godzilla himself mutated to the Godzilla we know and love. And also another thing, I would have personally added some more Godzilla scenes of him destroying some other cities. Really build them up as a threat. You know, build Godzilla up as a threat. Like show some more scenes of Godzilla destroying other cities. So that way everyone knows that yeah, Godzilla's yeah. Hell, maybe have him even like one shot a whole country. You know, like that scene where Godzilla destroys Genzo with his humming breath. Have him do that, but with a whole country. You know, that would have definitely made him country level powerful. But yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a plot hole when the girl survived. It was kind of a plot hole that they survived, that she survived. And not a plot hole. I didn't like that. I get it. He needs a happy ending, but he could have just ended with I don't know, like burying his girl and like saying I'm done with my dreams. I mean, my war has ended. Since obviously Godzilla's gonna come back, and I would have ended, and I would have had. Oh yeah, yeah. Some of the time skips, like then we're building Japan. I get what they were trying to do, but I would have had it been like optimistic yet pessimistic. I wouldn't have them be fully happy yet. I would have had them just rebuild it. Just a slight little nitpick. Just have it be keep in mind that Godzilla's out there, and have them still worried. And yeah, I didn't like how they was just time skipping shit. Like I would have personally had them. I would have personally just no. I would have just showed them rebuilding like happy all that. I would have had them still be a little nervous. But no. Actually, I get what they were trying to do. I get what they were doing, but still have them show a little bit of pessimism in mind. And I would have shown a little bit more brutality and some of the action. Yeah, some of the monster. I would have showed a little bit more brutality. And here's another thing. Another nitpick. I would have had Godzilla move a little more. He was really moving. I get that's how Godzilla always moves, but I would have had Godzilla like move a little more. Not necessarily like legendary Godzilla, but have him move a little faster. You know, have him even like I wouldn't mind him doing some crazy shit. I wouldn't mind him on buildings like st- like have him move like the Godzilla PS4 game. Like have him move similar to that. Yeah, yeah. Have him move similar to the Godzilla from the PS4 game, which is Godzilla. Heisei Godzilla's design. Have him move differently, because there were some scenes where Godzilla just moved stiff. And I personally would have made it just a little more darker. The tone was dark, but I would have personally made it a little bit more darker, in my opinion, closer to Godzilla 1954, Gojira. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this movie. Godzilla Minus One is the best Godzilla movie ever. Everything besides those little nitpicks was perfect, near perfect. Just those little nitpicks here and there, just changing it up, and it's just those little nitpicks. And also, I would have made Godzilla a little more powerful. You know, I know this is not necessarily the most strongest, most powerful Godzilla, but I would have still made him a little more powerful. You know, have him destroy some things, destroy more things. Yeah, yeah, just you know. I love the development of Shikishima. Another nitpick. I would have personally put Serizawa in this movie. No. In case they do a sequel, no, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say Oxygen Destroyer and no. Put that in the sequel. Put that in the sequel to minus one. Put that in the sequel. But yeah. Godzilla Minus One is fantastic. Fantastic film. I am proud of Takashi Yamazaki. I was already a fan of Godzilla's cameo Sun on Sunset. Is that what it's called? Sunset? And I really did like Godzilla the Ride. I was already a fan of Shikishima, as I could tell. I'm proud of Shikishima. I'm proud that he exploded in popularity. He really does. He does seem like a cool person. I like Shikishima. No. Takashi Yamazaki. I'm proud of Takashi Yamazaki. I really do hope Yamazaki comes back. Best Godzilla movie. In the Railroad Hero. Better than Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla was my favorite Railroad era movie until Minus One. Minus One is fantastic. I don't really got that much to say. So what else do I have to say about Minus One? Nothing? Alright. Nothing else to say about Minus One? Now, last but not least, before we move on, let me just briefly say the Skull. I'm not gonna review the Skull Island anime. That shit was forgettable as fuck. That's all I'm gonna say. The Skull Island show was forgettable. I like the Kong versus Kraken fight, but ultimately the show itself forgettable as fuck. No one even talks about that shit. Alright, speaking of shows, now let's move on to Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's a decent show. It's not great. It's a decent show. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Shima. Yeah. Godzilla X Kong is doing fantastic at the box office. But yeah, Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's a decent show. Uh, the characters are unlikable. We don't get enough monster action for a show called Legacy of Monsters, and Monarch surprisingly aren't the main characters for a show that's meant to be about them. And I'm confused on how it's taking place in 2014. I would personally set this show out the Kingdom Monsters, and we would have just got Godzilla monster action, especially at the Kingdom Monsters where we explored Monarch, where Monarch were practically the main characters of that movie. You think a show like Monarch would have taken place? You think a show like Monarch Legacy of Monsters would have taken place at the Kingdom Monsters, where we do get a lot of monsters, and we do focus on Monarch actually, and G Team, and a lot of Godzilla. But nah, we gotta put this between Godzilla 2014 and King of Monsters. Even though Godzilla Aftershock, which y'all sort of, or was it Godzilla Awakening that y'all retconned? It was Godzilla Awakening. I don't think y'all reckoned Godzilla Aftershock. If y'all did, then I would have been pissed off because, Muta Prime. So yeah, let's get the goods and the bads. I like the final battle. I like Godzilla in the show better than I did in Godzilla X Kong. I like Godzilla in this show. I like the tone of the show. Honestly, yeah, that's what I mean when I say after Godzilla X Kong, they need to take it more seriously. The tone of this show was spot on. Like I said, give us that more King of Monsters, Skull Island, and even Monarch tone. Give us that feel of the Monarch, King of Monsters, and Skull Island feel. Let Godzilla X Kong be the final movie. You take things a little too silly. You make things silly. You make things silly. After that, make it serious. And actually pace it better. Pace yourselves better. Not just go. That's one thing Monarch did better than Godzilla X Kong. When Godzilla, like, even though the Godzilla versus Iron Dragon was a little short, at least it wasn't 20 seconds long. Like, I still can actually, it still paces himself, even though it is a little too short. But at the same time, though, the Iron Dragon wasn't really that big of a threat anyway, so, yeah. Legendary forgot how to make villains, develop villains. But the human characters in the show are alright. They're not that great. They're forgettable. Some of them are forgettable. Some of them are unlikable. Bro, May. Hold on. I forgot her name. Yeah, May, Kent, and Kate. May Katero and Kate. Three of the most unlikable characters in the Monsterverse. I was liking Kate at first. Like first few episodes, I liked her story of her on the Golden Gate Bridge from 2014, which I liked they brought back by the way, and how she. This is what I this is what I fuck with. This is what we need more of. They had the balls to show children getting killed, and Kate was at fault for that shit. I was hoping she would get a redemption arc, and I was hoping she. Yeah, but I think we're gonna get that when season 2 comes out next year or 2026. There wasn't the most unlikable characters. No, fuck the positives and negatives. Let me just say how I feel. The show is decent. There's not enough monster actions. And let me say this, I was liking Kate at first until like episode 5 where she started where she was known as a cheater and yeah. And the fact that we had our first gay monster character. I hated episode 5. It was filler. Didn't need to be cut out. In fact, here are the episodes I liked. I liked episode 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. I also liked episode 6. Yeah, I liked episode 6 because that's when we get Godzilla. I liked episode 9 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 10. If there were like one contained story, I would have fucked with the show. I would have fucked with the show. I would have. I would have fucked with the show. Yeah, I would have fucked with the show. I would have still have this show taking place after King of Monsters. But I would have liked the show for what it was if it was episodes 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 10. Episode 4, 5, 7, 8. Filler episodes. But, yeah. May. I don't really got that much to say about the other characters in the show. Besides the main 3 I just mentioned. The characters are forgettable. They're cool, but they're forgettable, unfortunately. May. No. Let's talk about Kintaro first. Kintaro. Stepbrother. Don't really get a brother and sister development relationship like that. They don't get enough development. They don't. You can't. I was expecting Ken to stand up for himself because I did not like the way May was just bitching at him throughout the whole show. Even when he literally tried to save their lives. Like, I didn't like that shit. She's not even your girl no more, bro. Stand out for yourself. Stop letting these hoes bring you down. Don't let no bitch bring you down, nigga. Stand up for yourself, man. Fuck these hoes. She don't deserve you. She literally betrayed her own family. She literally sold y'all out. But yeah, Kate, Kataro, they're okay. I don't care for them like that, but they're cool. They're cool. What whistle? Even your character can save this fucking show. They killed them off in episodes, and I think they killed them off. If they didn't, then I'll be shocked. But I think they killed him. But unless he's somewhere on Skull Island, which I like the Kong cameo at the end of episode 10. I like the intro of the Monarch show. I fuck with the opening of the Monarch. The intro to the Monarch show. I really fuck with that. I like the tone. But yeah, now let's talk about the worst part of the show. May, fuck this bitch. Fuck her. She sells people out. She don't give a fuck. She's unlikable, and literally, she's an ungrateful, spoiled bitch who brags about her personal life. We have a whole episode. Man, fuck her. I don't give a fuck if we have a whole episode dedicated to her. Fuck this bitch. No, her family. I feel bad, but ultimately, fuck May. She sells people out. Literally, she's selfish. She runs away because she exposed them. If you expose someone that's shitty, then why the hell are you feeling? Oh my god, no. Literally, even when Kate was saying she's sorry, she wants to stick to. We need to stick together. No, let me just go by myself. I want to go home. They should have let her leave. Because honestly, things would have been better without her. She's the worst character in the Monsterverse. Yeah, let me say this right now. I hope they kill her off in season 2. Unless she gets better next season, I really hope they fucking kill her off. She is the worst character in the Monsterverse to me. How are you gonna get mad at someone that you're not even dating no more? And then when he tries to save you, how are you gonna put your anger on everybody else over a dude that you're not even dating no more? Literally, there are bigger things to worry about. Hello, you remember you live in the same world where there are literal giant creatures? Who the fuck knows what would have happened? There are bigger things to worry about. Hello, you live on a planet full of giant monsters. You never know if there could be a monster right outside your house. And you're over here bitching about relationships and Mike, you gonna tell me how my life go? If she wanted to go, I would just let her leave. Cause you're not about to. Literally, when I'm looking for my dad with my sister I just met a few days ago, you're not about to fuck up my plan with your bullshit over here. You do not get to tell me how my life went, bitch. I'm looking for my dad. Who the fuck knows if he's dead? And because I'm living on a planet full of giant monsters that I did not know existed until San Francisco incident back in 2014. Yeah, fuck this bitch. Yeah, fuck May. She is the worst character in the MonsterVerse. Like, I don't. Yeah. The Monarch show is decent. Unfortunately, it has a lot of flaws. We barely get any monster action. And for what little we get, they barely even do anything. In fact, we barely get any monsters. For a show called Legacy of Monsters, we barely get any monsters. Again. Thankfully, Godzilla X Kong get a lot of monster action. I hope we get that balance one day. You know what I'm saying? That balance of monsters and humans. But, who cares? The Monarch show was decent. The soundtrack was alright. It wasn't that great. It was alright. It was better than the Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong soundtrack. But it was still not as good as the King of Monsters soundtrack. I think that King of Monsters just has the best soundtrack in the MonsterVerse. Okay. The characters are okay. And I like the... It's just whatever. They retcon some things from the comics, which I didn't like. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is decent. I don't really got that much else to say. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is mid. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is decent. Yeah, it's funny how I prefer Monarch over Godzilla X Kong. It's funny how I prefer the show. It's ironic that I prefer the fucking show with a lesbian character with little to no action over Godzilla X Kong with majority of actions. Maybe I just prefer the serious tone better. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I just prefer the darker tone better. And the fact that it actually paced itself out. Even though the writing wasn't all that great, it actually at least paced itself out better. Whereas Godzilla X Kong just had a lot of shit going on here and there. Now, let's get on with the writings. Oh yeah, I know Godzilla Minus One is fantastic. Godzilla X Kong is mid, Monarch is decent, and Minus One is fantastic. Let's get on with the score so I can end this review. Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire gets a 6.7 out of 10. Only because I like the monster action. Yeah. And I'm a Godzilla fan, so yeah. And the show references, yeah, it's mid though. It's a Monster's ranking video where I would rank Godzilla X Kong and Monarch. Squall and Show it easily goes at the bottom because it's forgettable. That's all I'm gonna say. The Monarch Legacy of Monsters gets a 7 out of 10. No, not 7. A 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, the Monarch show gets a 7.5 out of 10. Godzilla minus one gets a 9.5 out of 10. Only because of the little nitpicks I had with the film. Only because of some of the nitpicks, it gets a 9.5. No, in fact, it's a 9.8. It was close to being a 10. 9.8 out of 10. 9.8. So close to being a 10. But it's just those little nitpicks. It's those little nitpicks, you know? It's just those little nitpicks, like I said. But yeah, that's our Godzilla content lately. Happy that Godzilla became a bigger brand. I'm happy for Godzilla minus one being the first Godzilla movie to win an Academy, which I don't know why. Godzilla 1954, Godzilla 1954, Godzilla vs. Destroyer, fucking Shin Godzilla 84, GMK. Even though I don't really like that movie like that, in my opinion. Hell, even the Monsterverse movies, it won Academy Award for VFX. Godzilla vs. Kong should have won Academy Award for VFX then. If that's the case, you know? So, yeah. That's all I really gotta say right now. I finally did my review for minus one in Monarch, and I did my review for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Look forward to my future content, and I'm out, Goji fans. I don't got nothing else to say. I'm out this motherfucker. So yeah. Like, subscribe, hit those bells, hit those notifications down below. Let me know what y'all thought about these reviews. Subscribe. A lot more content on the way. I'm happy for Godzilla. I'm happy Godzilla X Kong is doing good. I'm happy for Godzilla minus one's Academy Award. I'm happy that Godzilla is just a bigger brand right now. All we need is to hope for better. We need more. We need better. But other than that, great job, Goji fans. We're getting bigger. So yeah, that's all I gotta say right now. So peace out, Goji squad. Let me end this review.